Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Plan B TV News, Gist and Blog. A lot of you know the things that are happening in Burkina Faso on hiding everything between their possible best to make sure that they unseat or assassinate him. But we're going to center our focus on how Africa themselves have played a key role in either substantial or to contribute on how to disintegrate this young man. But first, I want you guys to watch what this man of God said in solidarity with the Burkina Faso president. We'll be right back.
The impact Burkina Faso have made. And we are sitting here and we were talking nonsensical madness against that. He's a coup maker. He took gun and came to power. Those of you who have not taken gun, what have you been able to achieve? A month ago, this young man commissioned a tomato factory, $12 million. You people said you were building a dam with $12 million. Where is the dam? Where is your dam? This young man is a sensible human being. Sensible human being. And he is working. The people feel he is some kind of an idol. The work where on my windiska obe kum onem obebo wutini mutu. He will shoot you in the head.
Yes.
Try and chop money in the government of this young man. Oh, that's how you send it to Obano.
Obano.
And we allow somebody with a gun to come close to our president. So the funny police for an independence square. You are too much hypocritical people. Hey, young man, continue your work. A young man can build tomato factory, build schools. He has shut his doors. Someone say ECOWAS. I didn't care about your ECOWAS. Now, look at. A leader comes and invites this young man. He's seeing that this young man your margin is too fast. I haven't said, I am only pointing my head. Sorry.
Now, you have watched this video. I also want you guys to watch this particular video of this young man who organized himself and traveled down to France to protest that they don't want Ibrahim as their president, that the France should come and hate them. I want you guys to watch this video.
La vérité. C'est comme nous disons. Juste.
Now, for those of you who don't understand what they are saying, some Burkinabés are protesting in France, demanding that Ibrahim Traoré should step down immediately.
That's what I said. If Africa will grow, or any country in Africa will grow or not, it is in the hands of the fellow Africa. Now, they did not go to ECOWAS per se. If maybe Ibrahim is not doing anything for them, they did not go to Nigeria, South Africa, or other African country. They went to France in their embassy and started protesting, demanding Leon colonial masters, the imperial masters, to come and hate them. These people that have been in your country for decades, we're not talking about 1 year now, we're talking about more than 100 years, they have not been able to develop your country. But look at what Ibrahim Traoré is doing in your country. Developing and making your country a better place. Because some group of people paid you, you accepted the money and you really raised the play card demanding him to be by, like you want him to be on seat. Thank God that many men of God are also speaking out. But before I give you other what men of God said, I want you guys to watch this particular video of Julius Malema, of that of the South Africa, the activist, what he said about Ibrahim. We'll be right back.
Burkina Faso would have been one of the most beautiful countries in Africa had Sankara lived long. The man who said to his people, here is the land, you must produce for the government and produce for yourself. Sankara who loved education. Sankara who gave our people health care. Sankara who knew that there will never be total liberation of people if women are not liberated themselves. Sankara, who knew that a political activist must be equipped with theory of politics, because a soldier with a gun without political theory is a potential criminal. That's why political education is always important.
Anyone that has come across Julius Malema's speech as an African, one way or the other, you will be inspired by what comes out of his mouth. Because Julius Malema is not just a politician, as many people see him. Though you may not like his way, he may not be 100% good or your own taste, but we can't dispute the fact that Julius Malema loves Africa, and he's one of those people that has come to restructure Africa. I love his ideology about Africa, and he has inspired me a lot. To be honest, he has inspired me a lot. Anytime I come across his speech, I always pay attention. And this one right here is legendary. Like, he said that we should support Burkina Faso. We should support Captain Ibrahim Traoré. I want you to listen to this.
There will never be a discussion about the security and good governance in Africa without acknowledging the damage that has been caused by colonizers and the imperialist forces. Africa's inability to be peace with herself, it is necessitated by the fact that colonialists want to exploit our minerals without being held accountable. It is the colonialists who are corrupting the leadership of Africa and making sure that those who are not corrupt are replaced by the corrupt puppets who will allow colonialism to continue in the African continent. Any battle you can imagine anywhere in the continent, it has got everything else to do with those who colonized us before. Today, they want to choose who are the leaders for African people. As we stand here today, Gaddafi should be an enemy of our people, according to the declaration of the Western imperialism, because Gaddafi stood for our people. Today, Mugabe, who was a darling, if you think Mandela was loved, you must revisit your history and check when Mugabe was becoming the president of Zimbabwe after the defeat of Rhodesia. He was the most celebrated man. He was loved by everybody until he started questioning the issue of the land, that the land must be transferred from the colonizer to the people of Zimbabwe. But when he was not advocating for that, especially after the Lancaster Resolution, they thought he's one such a gentleman who will allow them to do as they wish, until he realized that he was going to pass on without transferring the means of production into the hands of our people. Today, every African leader who served for a very long time in Africa, we are told is a fascist, is undemocratic. This person is a dictator. But such words were never said about Queen Elizabeth, who ruled for more than 50 years. And it's not just monarchy, like a Zulu monarchy or Abatembu monarchy. It's a monarchy that has got powers on the political systems of Britain. There is no any prime minister in Britain who can proceed with anything else politically without the go-ahead of the Queen, now the King. No one of those prime ministers can declare a war. Only the Queen or the King can declare a war. But that person has never been democratically elected. That person has got no term of office. They serve until the grave, and they are not called fascists and dictators. They do so with our leaders because they want to impose on us the imperialist bourgeois democracy. That democracy is when you go for 5 years and you are done. But as young people who are engaged in this space, you have a duty to ask yourself, how did we govern ourselves in the earlier primitive society before the arrival of the colonialists? And we're not asking here of an ancient history. Very recent, you'll realize that we were able to govern ourselves without being dictated to by the white people in terms of how we must govern ourselves. Today, we must be told that a good governance is a governance that complies with IMF or World Bank. Anything else outside that, even if your people are benefiting, you are not a good leader. Actually, you are a dictator. Let's go back to Gaddafi himself before he was killed by imperialist forces. Gaddafi nationalized the oil industry when he took over Libya. And he made sure that the people of Libya receive free health care and housing. The people of Libya actually used to get a piece of land for getting married. That's why many of you will remain single, because you realize there's going to be a problem here. Immediately when Gaddafi died, we saw Africans being taken by force in Libya as slaves, even post-colonial period. After Gaddafi died, Libya, which we're told it was under dictatorship and the most brutal man, has never known peace. It is under the group of warlords. It is under the group of terrorists, under the militia, and the people who are forcing themselves into power through a barrel of a gun. Today, one of the most unstable countries is DRC. Lumumba did not serve too long, because when Lumumba came in, they realized that this guy is going to create independence in the DRC, where the most strategic minerals are found. Since the passing of Lumumba till to date, DRC has never known peace. They will never know peace because those who are exploiting the resources of that area are the ones who are sponsoring the rebels in that area. They don't want authorities in DRC, because authorities will mean that we must also control the airspace of Libya. And when you control the airspace, you know which plane came in to do what and went out at what time. They are sponsoring rebels, doing land strips in the forests, where they land and take the minerals undetected and leave DRC. Today, DRC was supposed to be one of the most richest countries, but the imperialist forces will not allow it to be. So, Sankara was killed. And when you think Sankara was killed by his friend, that one was just the one who pulled the trigger. But there are brains behind that man who pulled the trigger, who, by the way, was a friend of Sankara. Burkina Faso would have been one of the most beautiful countries in Africa had Sankara lived long. The man who said to his people, here is the land, you must produce for the government and produce for yourself. Sankara who loved education. Sankara who gave our people health care. Sankara who knew that there will never be total liberation of people if women are not liberated themselves. Sankara who knew that a political activist must be equipped with theory of politics, because a soldier with a gun without political theory is a potential criminal. That's why political education is always important. Sankara who said, I'm not going to be part of borrowing money from IMF and the World Bank. So these leaders, I'm singling some of them out because I want to demonstrate to you that those who seeked good for us did not stay long. If you come to South Africa, Chris Sani's crime was not because he killed anyone, was not because he was mobilizing anyone. Chris was just speaking his mind. Not because he went to mobilize the people of Alexandra, not because he went to mobilize the people of Eastern Cape against what the negotiations was talking about. He just said, this is not what we went into the bush for. If we are going to take it through a barrel of a pen and we don't fight, then you must know we'll never realize that which we went to the bush for. And they realized that this man cannot be persuaded, not even by money. And they did not waste time. They finished him off. Because when we were negotiating for our democracy and thinking it's a peaceful transition from resistance to democracy, we actually found our leaders negotiating deals instead of negotiating for democracy. You need to go and do a research and ask yourself, when did the Vodafone deal come into South Africa? Vodafone. There were no cell phones. Vodafone was not here. Vodafone was negotiating with the apartheid regime just before the negotiations for democracy started. When the negotiators realized that, amongst other things, these people are talking about a wireless phone which is coming to South Africa, they stopped the negotiations and went to Vodafone. Or you are talking to wrong people. We are going to take over after these people. Come this side, and even if you insist on that deal with those people, when we come in, we are going to cancel that deal. Go and check out who were the black people who were part of a deal of Vodafone, what you call Vodacom today. And you must ask, once you know their names, then go and check what was their role in the negotiations. Then you will have an answer why we are where we are. They didn't have to kill them. They just have to corrupt them and give them the necessary resource to undermine the African struggle.
If you have been able to stay to this point, I want to thank you specially for listening and paying attention. Thank you for this, because I believe you have learned one thing or the other from the speech. Kindly leave out your opinion in the comment section. Don't also forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel. See you in the next video.
You have watched the video. But a lot of you might say, why is it that our leaders are not speaking out? It's just the activists, the activists, the activists. Did you know that this man have made public show of our leaders? The country who has no much resources except the good, but have able to build a lot of factories like tomatoes factory, as you are seeing, a lot of toll gates, a lot of roads, infrastructures, companies, and a lot of things. If it is you, do you think you will be happy? Let's say you have been a president in Congo with a lot of diamond oil in other countries. You have been the president for more than 20 years per se. Somebody just came with no resources in his country, or with the little resources they have, develop his country within the space of 2 years. You, 40 years in your country, will not be able to do something. That's why the other African presidents are very ashamed right now. They don't know what to say, but that's why all of them want him to be removed. Like I said in my previous video, he's not the only coup d'etat president, but he is the most talked about, and everybody wants him by, except the common African person, except the activists, but every other political leaders across the nation want him dead. Now, the only person that you see him respecting so far is the president of Russia. When you see them hand to hand, the way they shake, you know, he hardly shake other presidents, except he give them knuckle, don't shake them. Even if he wants to shake, he shake them with glove, with military combat glove in his hand. But Putin, he respected Putin so much because that country would have been nothing, absolutely nothing without Putin. Because everything that played out in that country, Putin helped them do it. Not for neo-colonizing purposes or to colonize them or whatever, but it just wants other Western world to go out of Africa and let Africa becomes a better world of themselves. You might also be wondering that why is it so that other countries are not doing so well? Because they are so dependent. Remember that ever since they took power, they were not talking. Immediately he started developing his country. All till today, they want him by. It's the same. If your country president wants to develop your country, it becomes a national threat to the Western world. That's why the only president that would have transformed our nation, like personally in Nigeria, was the late president Yaradua. Yaradua came into power with the mindset like Ibrahim to develop and to restructure the country. Within the space of 1 year, they buy him 1 year, and they had it for another 1 year, making it 2 years before Goodluck Ebele Jonathan took over power. Once you want to develop your country, it's a big problem for you. I want you guys to watch this particular video of this activist. What he said. We'll be right back.
We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united. And I can hear the Osagyefo saying, I do not want to be the leader of that country. I simply want unity. And I'm saying that we must live here with one united government. They listen not to the Osagyefo. I can still hear those immortal words of the Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah telling his Ghanaian peoples that the independence of Ghana means nothing if the rest of Africa is not independent.
You might be wondering that Africa, why are they so dependent in this Western world? Why? Why can't they have everything? They have the resources. They have all. Instead of them to build, to construct, to help, to regulate, they would rather take all their resources and hide it in the Western world. Do you know what happened to Saddam Hussein? What happened to Gaddafi? What happened to Idi Amin of Uganda? These are the people that have visions for their nation. You know, okay, I want you guys to watch this particular video. We'll be right back.
Well, I was with Muammar Gaddafi when Gaddafi insert in 1999 advanced coming out of the OAU to the African Union with a vision of the United States of Africa. Muammar Gaddafi spent, listen to me, billions of dollars to create the African Union. Did you know that Gaddafi gave $300 million and the other African nations gave $100 million to put up a satellite so that we who call Africa don't have to go through Europe to get to Africa? And Europe was getting $500 million a year just by our telephone calls to the continent. Now we can call directly to Africa, and that $500 million is in the hand of African people. Did you know that Muammar Gaddafi was setting up an African development bank with $70 billion in the African Development Bank from Libyan oil money? That we would not have to borrow money from the IMF and the World Bank at these exorbitant rates. Zero interest under Islamic non-usury teachings. I just left St. Kitts, and in the island of St. Kitts, he was going to set up a Caribbean Development Bank. He told the Prime Minister there, and he was going to put $1 billion in that bank for Caribbean development. Why do you think they killed him? You think they killed him because he killed his people? Hell no. They killed him because, listen to me real good. You touched my nerve with that question. Did you know that in Libya, nobody's homeless? Listen, everybody in Libya has either a home or an apartment. They call it a flat. Did you know education in Libya is free from kindergarten through college? And did you know that if a Libyan wanted to come to America to be educated, the government in Libya paid for their education? Did you know that? I was there when he opened a $500 million hospital with 18 theaters for operation. I was there, and we went when he was making their own medicines. See, this was a man that gave free medical attention to all the citizens of Libya. And if Libya did not offer that kind of medical attention, they could fly anywhere in the world and get it, and the Libyan government would pay for it. Did you know that? No, you didn't. Did you know that from the oil money, every Libyan citizen got a stipend every year? And did you know that that man had no debt? Everything in his country was paid for. See? Now, when you got a man that did that for an African nation and was trying to do that for all Africa, how do you think Europe felt about it?
That is a clear example of what Africa should be fully aware of. How they come into your country, once they see that your country is well developed and they don't want you to stop your people from coming to their country to demand as it. They don't want you to stop coming to them to demand help. They don't want you to stop coming to them for aid, to requesting for military combat help or whatsoever. Immediately you want to develop or unite Africa becomes a national threat. But they are doing it because they know Africa agreed. Imagine, for example, I'm just saying, just imagine, for example, now that all Africa leaders took stand with Ibrahim, and they themselves is also doing well in their country, like what Ibrahim is doing. These colonial masters, they will be tired. They will be tired. They cannot pay anybody. But no matter what they want to do, even if they want to assassinate or fire anybody in Africa or any leader that are doing well in Africa, they will not come to do it themselves. You will not sit there with sniper, you will not sit there helicopter, dropping bomb or anything. No, they will not do it. They paid your fellow Africa just as these people that went to France to protest. They paid them. Once they pay them, you see, the greed in the nature of Africa will make them to accept the payment and stop somebody that is developing your country for you not to be running to the Western world to demand an asylum, which they will definitely reject. Even if they accept, you can never be like them. Once they saw and they noticed that, okay, you are doing well, they come after you, not because, before they do it, they paid some group of people to unseat and buy their president. They did it. Yala, yala, yala. They don't want anymore. They go after him, they buy him. Till today, they abandon them, and that country is nothing to write home about. Same thing they have done in every other Africa country. That's why no matter how healthy you are, you can never become a president in Africa. Because once you are healthy, you cannot come to them for aid. You see these people, president on wheelchair, handicap, seriously sick, like our president, breathing with pipe, oxygen. Look at him. That's why he run to France for medical checkup to recheck and re-examine. Because this man is like a robot. He will cry at any given time if he's not seeking help. And he can't do it in Africa because if he do it, the whole world will be aware. The information will link. Anyway, I want you guys to watch the rest videos of this pastor, what he said, in order for him to stand in solidarity with the Burkina Faso. We'll be right back.
This young boy, within just 6 months, has commissioned 18 factories. 18. They build cars in Burkina. They are building their own tomato. They don't import anything. First thing he did, he closed the borders. Nobody should come here. Nobody should come here. Do you think that Chinese can go to this boy's backyard and go and do galamsey? This boy came to Ghana and shook your president with a pistol. It's a statement. Nobody fools around. You fool around, we blow your head apart. We don't care about law. We are here to develop our nation, to help people. This guy here walked to your president with a gun on his side. It's a statement. You people bring Chinese from places. Go to Takwa, Bogoso, Prisia, Chebi, and look, go and go and see the madness of your Christianity. Some boys in Naibiko Presby, Alabaster, Pentecost, CAC, your bottom. And I'm not saying your bottom keke. I'm saying your bottom by Jeremiah 51 verse 7. Your bottom. Munya papa. Munya papa. Munya papa mkenyeni. This boy know how he can boldly tell Burkina Faso, there is no need to travel to America. We are creating America here. Every young man, this boy, regional minister, regional minister, Adia we are moye, no, Adia moye, Monsumoye be 8 years ago. Are you people okay? And this boy, for your information, is a Muslim. Only communion da. Masonko be da. I want to hear. Tell me the meaning of your noise. What the answer question that's sorry. That is Christianity. I am a Christian time, Papa. I'm telling you, at time, Papa. Sorry, but now we are going to go so. We Christian some near time, Papa.
All right, as an African, please, if you know you are a social media person, even if it is TikTok, even if it's Instagram, even if it's Facebook, even if it's on YouTube, WhatsApp, just make 1 or 2 videos, because they said protest is coming and they want to make sure that they stand in solidarity with the Burkina Faso president. Please make your videos, make yourself available in any way you can to support the Burkina Faso. Let him develop his country. The Africans are not complaining. The Western world shouldn't complain. This is what we're going to be ending our video today. Please subscribe if you have not done so. If you do, please turn on the notification bell so that you wouldn't miss out our note. Please, this is where we're going to be ending our video. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do. If you do, turn on your notification bell so that you wouldn't miss out our official post. Until we meet again, please stay tuned with Plan B TV. Peace out.